this shirt should say, I love DTF. Hey y'all, welcome to my channel. I'm Patrice and thank you for being here. Today we are going to be unboxing the K8 DTF printer from Procolored. Now this is their latest model of DTF printers. It comes in two sizes. This is the A4 size, which prints 8 inches wide, or they have the K13, which prints 13 inches wide. These particular printers have a roller feed, so you can print as long as you want. Now, both of these printers are presently available on their Kickstarter website. I will have a link listed below if you are interested. The good thing with the Kickstarter program is that you can get these printers at a reduced rate. After the Kickstarter is over, which I believe it's going to be over in about a month, you will just pay the retail cost for these printers. Now, this is a big improvement. I can't even hold this in. I wanted to wait until we went through the unboxing and got to the end. Yo, this is a big improvement. The only thing that I can say, and I do want you guys to know what I don't like, is that when you have to talk to them, you got to talk to them in the middle of the night if you're over in the United States. However, I can't even contain myself because with this printer, yo, I got this up and running in 30 minutes and I did not have to contact anybody to get this started in 30 minutes. I really didn't even need gloves for this. Now, I do want you to know you may need gloves if you're going to be handling the powder and things like that. You want to make sure you have gloves for the powder and face mask and all that, just to protect yourself from any of the powder. But y'all, I can't wait to show y'all this. So let's get started.
All right, guys, so let's get ready to open our crate. This is how it comes. Shout out to Procolored for sending me this printer so that I can review it and let you guys know what I think about it. Now, be careful when you're opening these crates. I do like that they upgraded how you can open the crates because it used to be a whole hot mess trying to open them up, but now they're super duper easy to open. Be careful, that metal is very sharp. You don't want to cut yourself while opening it. But now that we have it open, the first thing on top is the curing oven, and they changed the look of the panda. Look at that, it's so cute. All right, so I'm just gonna put that aside because that's not the most important thing. The most important thing is this box right here, and we are going to just get this out of the crate. It was a little challenging getting it out of the crate, but nonetheless we got it out. All right, guys, so we got the box out of the crate and now we're just opening it up to see all of the different content. But this is totally like an upgrade from my other printers that I've gotten from Procolored. So looking at this, they have an accessory mounting box on top. So let's see what's inside of here. Of course, that's not the printer. Wow, they have everything literally labeled. We are going to look closer at this once we take this out and get ready to start setting the printer up. But that already, I'm super impressed by the fact that they had everything labeled. They have all of these other smaller boxes with some tools, cleaning tools that we may need, some syringes that we'll need. They also have the installation kit there with the dongle and the USB drive, some film, a roll of film we have. And then this last box is just a spare toolbox with some things that we may need for our printer. Wow, they really thought of everything. And there is also an additional motherboard that they sent as well. This is certainly an upgrade. Y'all, look at this printer. The printer looks so cool. So let's hope that it works as cool as it looks. All right, guys, so these are the two boxes that I'm going to start with opening. This is the software installation box and the accessory mounting box. Okay, so let's open the software installation box and see what's inside. All right, so we have right here software installation guide. So this is a guide to install the software onto your computer. Okay, you will be installing a RIP software, and this is going to be how you're going to print on your new DTF printer. Okay, so these are some instructions, and honestly I'm impressed with how Procolored has upgraded their packaging and just making it super easy to identify some things. So I really do like that. This is a dongle, so you never want to lose this because you will need this for any time you're going to be using your printer to print. Okay, so this will need to be placed inside of your computer every single time you print. So this USB, this is where you will get all of the information. There's instructional videos here on how to set your printer up, and also you will get your RIP software, and that is the software that you need in order to use your printer. Okay, they also supplied a USB cord, and then here looks like they supplied a chip. Next, we're going to open up the accessory mounting box. Inside of this box you have quite a few different things. Okay, so they have everything labeled, which I really like that everything is labeled. You have your power cord over here on this side, and it's like you reveal the power cord, right? Then you have over here acrylic. So I really think that this setup makes it super easy and less intimidating when you're opening up this printer and getting it set up. Everything is labeled and you'll know exactly what to do with these different parts. They have instructions even on the actual packaging, so I think that's cool. And also you want to keep this manual handy. All right guys, so the first thing we're going to do is open the cover and look underneath our printer. And this is what the printer looks like. If you push the lid all the way back, it did click, and now it's going to stay in place. All right, so if you look right here, there is a little tab here, metal plate that's connected by a screw. And right here it says, please note to remove the yellow fixing plate of the ink cart first and then turn on the power. All right, so let's go ahead and remove that. And we're going to just head right here and unscrew that. All right, so we have that removed. All right guys, after removing that plate, we are going to now plug in the printer. We're going to place this on the back left side of the printer, and then we're going to plug this into an outlet. Next, we're going to turn the printer on, and the on switch is in the back right above the power cord. Alright guys, so there's two power switches, the one in the back and then also the red power button on the front. You also want to make sure you check your manual to see what temperature your printer should be at. I usually keep my temperature between 40 to 45 degrees, but you certainly want to make sure that you look at the manual just to note and see for yourself. In addition, inside of the printer there is the waste tank, and then there's also your ink cartridges and your ink tanks, and this is where we're going to be filling up our ink. Alright guys, so when you power your machine on, you want to go ahead and press your power button, and this will stay lit. Here you have your temperature. So this is the temperature inside of your machine, and you want to make sure that it is always on green. Right now the print head is just moving. We are going to get ready and press down the ink button right here for a few seconds so that it can perform a print head cleaning. So anytime you need to perform a print head cleaning, you can go ahead and press that and it will get it done. So we're just going to press that for about 5 seconds. And as you see, our print head has started to move and it's performing a cleaning. This light is blinking right here. This says automatic ink extraction. So that's what's happening right now, but there isn't any ink inside of the printer yet. You want to wait to put your ink in. All right, y'all, so it's done cleaning. As you see, the light stopped blinking, and so now we're going to get ready to install the roll feeder. So we're just going to close this. You can kind of just lift it up a bit like that. There is a little latch there. And then once you do that, you just close it, and we are going to install the roll feeder on the back. I'm just going to flip the printer around to the back. And y'all, this is very, very lightweight. And as you see, there are 2 screws over here and 2 over there. We want to go ahead and remove these. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is grab the holders. These are the brackets for the film rod or film roll. And we're going to place this on here. So you want to line this up so that they're both facing, the wheels are facing the inside, just like that. Okay, so we're going to get ready and screw this back on. All right, y'all, this part is fairly easy, and you want to just make sure you screw everything in tightly because that roll of film is very heavy. So just make sure that those brackets are secure and you will be fine. This is one of the easiest parts of getting this printer set up. The next thing we're going to grab is the Procolored film roll, okay? And this is for the A4 size film. The printer is for A4, which is about 8 inches wide. However, you can print as long as you may need to. The next thing we're going to need with this, we're going to need the rod and the roll holders here. And so you want to make sure that you pay attention to how this is, to the direction of, so you want to make sure that you pay attention to the arrow. So this is actually the side that is going to be printed on. There's one side that's a little frosty and the other side is a little glossy. This is the glossy side. So this is where your ink is going to be printing on, okay? So this means that you want this to roll into the printer just like that. Okay, that's what that means. So when we get ready to place this onto the printer, this is the direction that it needs to go, just like this, okay? All right, guys, so to connect the end caps and your steel rod, you just want to make sure that you fit it in and you can loosen it up by unscrewing these screws. So that will allow you to adjust it as you need to. And then you also want to make sure that you tighten those screws back up once you've adjusted it. Sometimes you may need to do it while it's on the machine, but nonetheless, this is how you will loosen it up and tighten it back up when you're all set. All right, guys, so now we're back here at the printer, and again, I want you to pay attention to your arrow. So this is going to feed into the printer in this direction. That's why the arrow is pointed like that. So now we're just going to go ahead and place that in the roll holder. So we can go ahead and take this off, and then this is just going to go into the printer like that. All right, guys, so next we're going to install the cutting board, and this is to cut your film. It's a film cutter, okay? And there are 2 slots here that we can just place this on. So I'm going to remove these, and then we're going to go ahead and just screw these on. All right, also I'm going to go ahead and remove these screws right here. I'm going to hold on to them because we're going to use these to place the film cutter, the cutting board. All right, so let's get ready. This is the cutting board, and we're going to just place these just like this. And right where we moved, just push it down, and right where we remove those screws, I'm just going to go ahead and place these back in. Okay, so once you put it into the 2 slots here, you just push it down. So I do recommend doing it this way because when I did it before and I tried to put it on, it kept falling off. And so once I removed those screws, I was able to really push that cutting board in and push it down to lock it in place. And the screws just make sure that it's nice and secure on the printer. All right, so now that we have the cutting board in place and we have our paper already inside, it's not going through, we're going to press the feeder button. So this will feed the paper through. Okay, so we're going to press that, and there is our our paper, okay? And so the cutter works like this. You want to make sure, as you guys saw when I did that, we have the cutter right here. You want to make sure the cutter is out of the way, okay? And just to slice it, you're just going to roll that slicer and it will cut it. All right, guys, so the next thing we're going to do is grab our laptop and we're going to get ready to install the software onto the machine. So I'm going to install both the white flash drive as well as the blue dongle. Okay, so we'll put the blue dongle over here on this side, and I'm going to put the other USB on this side. Okay, next we want to get our USB cord that came with the printer, and we're going to plug our computer and the printer up. Now I am using a PC for this. In the past, I have reviewed, used for my business several DTF printers, and generally you need a PC to get this done in order to install the RIP software. There are some RIP softwares that you can use with MacBooks. However, this one came with the printer. All right, and it does look like I may need an extra slot. So I am going to remove this dongle and place this one here, and then we'll put the dongle in once the software is installed. And we're going to place the other side over here. All right, guys, so next up it's time for us to install the ink. And installing the ink is a lot easier than it has been in the past. All right, y'all, so we're going to get ready to pour the ink inside. And I recommend having some gloves. You'll also need a funnel, or at least, I would get 5 funnels. I don't have 5 funnels with me. Funnels did not come with the printer. At least I did not see them. So we are going to place the ink inside, but definitely get you some gloves because you don't want this ink on your hands. All right, so when we look inside, this is the waste tank. Okay, so this is where the ink, the wasted ink, will go, and this is where you will install your ink, or you'll pour your ink. All right, and this is where you pour the white. Now they say that this process is easier because it's a one-step ink setup. So we're going to see over here on the button, on the side you have a button for ink extraction. That button is what we'll press after we pour all of the ink inside. So we're just going to start with the cyan, and we're going to take that off, and we can place our funnel inside. I have a smaller funnel that we could use, and that funnel will go inside like that. All right, let's get our cyan, and we're going to repeat this process for all of the colors, but I would definitely recommend going in order. The order of how you place your ink inside is very, very, very important. All right, and so there is a little cap on here, and we're just going to puncture that. I might also have like a towel or paper towels or something down there. You don't want to get this ink over, especially I have a white desk here. All right, so now we're going to pour this in just like this, and that's filling up. I do kind of want to stop. You don't want to overfill it, okay? So I'm going to stop right there. The entire bottle is not going to go inside, okay? I do have some left over. I have a good amount of this ink left over at the bottom. Now you want to make sure that you shake your bottles. I did not show shaking it, but you want to always make sure the next color is magenta. You want to make sure that you shake that ink up. All right, guys, so this part can be very, very messy. So you just want to make sure you have gloves, you have a paper towel or towels around just in case. So I'm pouring this, but be very careful. None of the ink tanks will take the entire bottle except the white ink, because I kind of overflowed the black a little bit, thinking that, you know, I could get it up there and I want it to be full, but don't stress out about that because you can always put more in. As you see, I still have lots of ink left over in those bottles. So just make sure that you are careful. Don't overflow it. All right, guys, so now it's time for us to pour our white ink in. So the ink comes with some protection fluid, and you want to make sure that you don't pour that in here. Okay, that's for your nozzle, for your print head. So we're going to pour the white ink into this container. And this has the ink circulation tool installed on it. All right, so we're just going to pour this in. And you will find that you'll use more white ink than you do any of the other colors. So just take note of that. All right, so that whole bottle of white ink went into. So the next thing that we have to do is we need to press this automatic ink extraction button over here on the left side of the printer. All right, so we press this down for 5 seconds. And as you notice, now the ink is flowing through. This is a big difference from the other printers where you had to manually pull that ink in. So you just press this down for a few seconds and then that will get the ink going. And if you look here, now we have some of that ink going into our waste tank. So you want to always make sure that you keep this clear. Okay, so as you use your printer, you want to always make sure that you pour it out because you don't want this to start to overflow into the printer. All right, and I'm doing another print head cleaning, and you just want to push in that ink button for 5 seconds just to get that ink flowing really, really nicely. So that's what's happening here. It's performing a print head cleaning. All right, guys, so now we're inside of the WIP software, and I actually downloaded the software from the website. I got the latest software because I did have an issue trying to download it from the USB. So it was simple and very easy for me to just download it from the website. All right, so now we are going to pull in a design. And before you do that, you want to make sure you have your printer connected. And to do that, you're going to just make sure the printer that you're using is installed. And we have the A4 DTF printer. That's what we will be using. And you just make sure that it's there. And you make sure that you select it. You also want to make sure that you have your terminal selected. And I have my USB connected to the printer. So all I did was click select printer. And once you do the drop down, any printer that your computer recognizes will be listed. And I have the Epson L1800 here selected. So that's what we will be using. Okay, everything is pretty much set up for us. Now we're going to get ready and import the image. This icon up here will allow you to import whatever image that you're going to be using. And we're going to be using this one. Now this image is a tad bit larger than what I really want it to be. Because remember, this is an 8-inch wide printer. Now it does print longer. So I can rotate this and get it, get a nice size design by rotating it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip it. And what I want you to notice, if you look here, you see the bounding boxes here. So that means that the software is registering that blank space as part of the design. So this, of course, is going to be too large to print onto our printer. So what I need to do is I need to go up here and select the clip mode option. Once I select that, I'll be able to kind of remove some of that space. You want to make sure you remove it. Most PNGs, or a lot of PNGs, will come in as at the true size, but sometimes you will get a case where this will happen, and that will prevent you from printing it. You may think that, oh, there's nothing there, but your software will recognize that there's something there, and you will get errors, okay? And you will not be able to print. So we're just going to go ahead and clip this just like this. And I'm going to exit out of that. And if you notice now, that really made us have a better feel of a size that we could use. Okay, now again, if you look here, the width from right to left is saying that this is 7.715 inches, and the height, and remember we rotated it, so this is really going to be our width, the height, but the height is about 12 inches, 11.908. You can see it right here at the bottom. Now, of course, that's going to be too wide for a shirt for me, right? So you want to make sure you adjust it to the correct size, and I'm going to go about 10 inches. That's why I would recommend, if you were looking at a smaller printer like this, these are options, especially with the roll feeder, that you can still print a little bit wider. Okay, this software also allows you to be able to cut your picture. Okay, so if you have a larger printer or a larger picture, but you don't have a wide format printer, you will be able to split your design and press it that way. Okay, so I really do like that feature. So right now at a 10.429, I think that's going to be really good, a really good width for me. Select down here, and I can always just type, let's say if I wanted 10.5 inches wide, I could go ahead and just do that there manually and put in the size. Okay, so depending on what you're printing, if you wanted to print something else, like if you had smaller things to print, you could actually line smaller things here. So let's say if you had like a small little patch or left chest logo that you wanted to put someplace, you can actually put this here so that you're not wasting a lot of that film. Okay, again, it's not wide, it's about 8 inches wide. However, you can utilize all the space this way. I know some people feel very limited with these types of printers, the ones that are not as wide format, but you can do some things with it, okay, especially if it's within your budget. All right, so we're going to go ahead, and I am pretty much ready. I'm not going to do anything else. I'm not going to adjust anything over here where you can adjust some of the settings here. We're not going to do that. We're going to print and go about our business. All right, so the next thing I want to do is I want to select RIP. You want to do RIP job. Once you select RIP job, it'll make sure that you know what printer you're printing on. We're printing on the A4 DTF, and these are just the print channels, and this is your DPI right here. You can also print a file, but we're not doing that. We're going to be printing onto our printer, okay? And then I'm going to select print. Now you can either do or RIP your design. You can either have it set to RIP and then print automatically. I tend to use RIP first, and then I'll go ahead and do a right click and select print at that point. All right, guys, so if you're new to DTF, just know that as it's printing out, this ink is wet and it prints the color first, and then it also prints the white on top. That's how you're able to press this on dark colors. Now, it did take this particular printout to print at about 4 minutes, but I don't think that that was too long. It printed out nicely. All right, guys, so that's all done. I am going to pull this out. Wrong way. And these guys will help you see like where you need to cut, okay? So you don't waste your film. So I'm just gonna take this and we're going to hold it flat. Uh-oh, I rolled right over it. Look what I did. That was too close. All right, guys, so now we're going to move this out, and we want to make sure that we clear the slicer, okay? So the slicer is going to go about right here. So if you look, you want to make sure that you clear it because I already snipped some of my image, my design on another print. So let's get ready. I'm just holding this, and we're going to take the slicer and wheel it across, and now we have our DTF print. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is head over to powder the back with the powder coating on the back. Okay, let's do that. All right, guys, so this is our curing oven, and this is where you will place all of the transfers that you print, and then you want to powder it. So you print it and then powder it, and then you're going to move your transfers over to this machine so that it can cure the adhesive. Okay, so we're just going to open this up and look at it. They have several of these. This is an updated version of the curing oven. And then they have one that is an automatic shaker and oven. But this one is a desktop. That one does take up a little more space. So depending on the type of space you have, this one might be ideal. Now this one you can only do about one transfer, maybe one or two transfers around. So just so that you know that you will need to cut it so that it can fit on here, and then this heats up and it will cure it. Now I can say I love the setup of this one. It is a lot different. Now you do want to make sure that this is, you have it properly ventilated. You don't want to inhale all of the fumes that may come from here, but looks pretty good. And we're going to get this plugged in, and then we will place one of our transfers inside. All right, y'all, so as the printer prints, we're going to get ready to turn on our curing oven. And this is the air filter. It's one right here over on the side. And we're going to turn this in by clipping the on switch in the back. All right, guys, so this is the powder. Once we print it out, this is the powder that we'll be using. Now this powder came from Procolored, but there are several different types of powder you can get. They have powder that is black for certain types of shirts or items, and you have this powder. This is going to be a white powder. They have powder that is very fine. So there's different types of powder that you can put onto your transfers. This one is from, again, Procolored, and this is just their standard white powder. All right, so we're going to use this once we are done printing. All right, so they're saying that the time that you need to set your oven to is 266 degrees Fahrenheit to 320 degrees Fahrenheit, and it needs to cure for 200 to 300 seconds. Okay, and then once you're done with that, this is your time and temp for pressing your transfer onto a shirt. So to press it onto a shirt, it needs to be set at 302 to 329 degrees Fahrenheit, and you're going to press it for about 30 to 45 seconds. All right, guys, so this is the powder. I went ahead and put this in a bin that I usually use for powdering when I have smaller prints. If I'm not using the powder and oven station, I go ahead and place my powder in here, and I just keep it closed up. Now we're going to powder, and we want to place the powder on the back of the print. Now, if you have another station where you can pour your powder on top and then just shake it off, that's fine too, but this is generally how I do it. Just because I like to keep my powder like this, okay? And so the next thing you're going to do is you're just going to make sure you coat all of that image with the powder. You want to coat the back, okay? Because that glue is a little wet. You don't want to touch it, because you will ruin your print, okay? If you touch it, you will ruin your print. All right, once you have it nicely coated, just go ahead and give it a light tap to remove some of that extra powder that might be on the film. Okay, now you have your first print, and we're going to place that inside of the curing station. All right, guys, so let's get ready and place our print inside of our curing station. Now, another thing that I would recommend that I did not show here is for you to have on gloves when you are powdering, okay? You want to make sure that you have on gloves when you are powdering. All right, so I'm just going to place this like this, film side down. You don't want to place it with your powder touching the hot plate, okay? So we're going to go ahead, place that inside. I'm going to close this, and we're going to press start. Once we press start, you hear the air filter going, okay? So this is purifying that air, but I still would make sure that I had at least a window around just to ventilate it. You don't want all those fumes. Same thing that I would suggest for if you're using a laser printer. All right, guys, so that's all done. We're going to open up the oven. And here we have our print, and it's nice and cured. If you look, we see that it's now glossy and it's not powdered. So I do like that setting. Let's look at the front just to make sure that the front looks good and we didn't over cure it. And we did not over cure it. That looks great. Okay, so we're going to get ready and we're going to be able to press this onto a shirt. Alright guys, so we're all done printing and now it's time for us to press this shirt. And I'm just going to make this super quick. I've pressed several DTF transfers on my channel. Now all I'm going to do is I went ahead and lint rolled the shirt and gave it a pre-press, and now we're going to press this. I chose to press this at 325 degrees for 25 seconds for the first print. Once you press it, you want to let it cool down and then go ahead and peel off the DTF film. Now this depends on what type of film you have, if you have hot peel or cold peel, but nonetheless it looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and press this a second time with a piece of parchment paper, not butcher paper, because sometimes it can stick to the butcher paper. So I pressed it with butcher paper and for about 10 seconds, and y'all, it came out good. Those colors look great. I love how this came out, and I'm very happy with my first print with my new K8 DTF printer.
All right, y'all, so we are all done unboxing my newest favorite printer, the K8 Procolored DTF printer, and I'm super impressed. I'm super duper impressed. I can't even say anything really negative about it. Still that they don't have a US based dedicated customer service support. You still kind of have to talk to them in the middle of the night. I don't like that, but let me just let you guys know. This is the very first printer that I set up that I did not have to contact anybody from Procolored to make sure that it was set up correctly or to help me troubleshoot anything. The very first one. And I've had 6 Procolored printers. Okay, from DTF to UV to UV DTF. Like, I have a lot of Procolored printers. I actually love Procolored. I just don't like the fact that I got to talk to them in the middle of the night. But guess what? I got this started without talking to a single person. They listened and they improved their machine tremendously. This makes me very hopeful about how DTF is moving along for the apparel industry. And for those of you who might be like me, who may be working from a small warehouse or at your house, this machine is definitely worth it. Okay, so I would look at the K13 too, because I might want the K13. Like, I think I may want the K13 after using the K8. An amazing printer. Our shirt came out beautiful. The RIP software is amazing. You're able to adjust your photo so that you can get, you know, more space on your shirt, because you don't want a small, especially this is a medium shirt. If this were a large shirt, you wouldn't want an 8-inch wide design on a large shirt, right? So if you flip it, you can adjust the size, but you can also slice it now and get more of the image on your shirt. So I'm really super impressed with this. If you are interested in this printer, please check out the website listed below so that you can go and research it and see, you know, what will work for you, if you like it or not, and just get all the information. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure to head over to Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok and join the Craftable Things communities there as well. I would love to have you. But that's it for today, y'all. Thank you all so much for watching. I gotta go and play with this printer some more. I gotta go see what I can do. I'm still gonna get some transfers, but I want to see what I'm gonna do. Until next time, y'all.